Good win.
Oh my god, that's disgusting from
Job
the refs.
well done. Job well done from the boys. And as you said earlier, or a few minutes ago, United weren't lights out. They weren't anything special, but they did what they had to do, and they got the 3 points. Sancho once again on the score sheet. You can't complain.
You can. You can complain.
You can complain.
Complain about 3 points. I don't think you
Mate,
can.
Yeah, you can't complain about 3 points, but you can complain about the way that the performance that you lot have just put in against one of the weakest sides in the league
right now is the worst player in the league. Worst team in the league.
No, I see what you're saying, but at the end of the day, the job is done. We were never really under threat. Sure, we could have easily got another 2-3 goals easily, but
you couldn't have. You didn't play well enough to get it
until that 50th. Until that 50th minute, Leicester had a 5-minute period. They have a half chance. They have a half chance.
Did you create?
There was tactical changes where we brought on more defensive or more holding players anyway. So the plan was never to score more goals. We took off Rashford, took off Elanga, we took off Sancho, brought on Ronaldo, Fred, and
it's a risky game to play.
It's not so much that, but I mean, in the 50th minute, you concede to the fact that you're going to win 1-0 or maybe get a goal on the counter attack. Like
it's too risky, I think.
If it's against the Arsenal or City or Liverpool, I don't mind it.
Yeah, but you say that, but
against Leicester, it's not good enough.
You say it's risky because there's been so many times we've let go of a 1-0 lead or a 2-1 lead, and we've therefore dropped points.
No, I get that. A result is a result.
We're playing with a totally different. Well, we're transitioning into a different philosophy, a different style of play, and we are seeing that from the back forward. I'm more confident in our current back four with Casemiro in front of them than I have been for the last 2-3 years, and that's why I can assume Ten Hag has made those tactical changes to bring off attacking players because he knows what's the point in keep tiring out our attackers when we can control the game better. Don't get me wrong. You can say we didn't hold possession, we didn't make all the passes, didn't blah blah, but you never thought fuck Leicester could get a goal here.
The end you did.
Copley certainly did.
There was the free kick.
But I was never. They never really threatened massively.
No, they didn't.
We could play Tranmere Rovers and Copley would still be shivering.
Yeah, but that Justin thing, it takes that and then a score. Then we just dropped 3 points where we could have controlled the game. We saw even there were spells, unlike Southampton, where we literally sat deep, hoofed it long. There were spells after that 50th minute where we did control it a little bit, and then we just went back into just get it long, when we didn't need to. And
we didn't need to.
Even though they showed nothing, it doesn't take much for a team to score. It can take nothing. That Justin goal goes in, suddenly we're like, well, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, you're playing a game of football. Those chances are always going to come about.
Oh, I get that. I understand.
A team in the Premier League, more than likely, besides Bournemouth, are always going to make chances. That's the fact.
But they barely did until we were sitting back and then hoofing it long.
No, of course, but as we keep saying, we are still transitioning into that style of play and looking to control the games better. I thought the first half we controlled very well for the most part. And then into the second half was slightly we sat back a lot more. But then we also saw with the tactical changes that Ten Hag made, that's what he wanted anyway. And as I've already said it, I'll say it again. Leicester, Leicester are awful, right? They had nothing on. But also, I think that's what we played into. Why keep going for goals in the last 10 minutes when
it's not about keep going for goals? That's not what we're talking about.
It's about being comfortable as well.
But being comfortable is thinking, shit, we could concede here. Take Copley out of the
So you're telling me, in those last 30 minutes, you didn't think, holy fuck, we're going to
last 30 minutes? Yeah, but if we're thinking from controlling and seeing out the rest of the game, you're thinking the last 15 minutes?
I would class controlling the game, dominating it, being more than one goal up, where Leicester are wasteful.
But you've just said it's not about goals. You've just said it's not about the goals.
That's what Chaz said.
Aaron's saying
it's about the goals.
Aaron's talking about controlling the game.
But
Barron's
you
about
like
controlling
you
the
like
game.
aggressive football. You like scoring goals. Obviously,
But
every fan likes to see goals.
But if you're 2-3-0 up, do you not think that's more controlling than being
Of course.
winning 1-0?
Of course,
That's my
at
point.
the end of the day, as we
That
said
is-
at half time, United aren't looking to score 5, 6, 7 goals every 2 weeks. They're looking to get results. And for the last 3 games, we've got results. Whether you agree, whether we scrape through, whether we scrape the barrel, whatever, we've had 3 games, we've had 3 results.
I get
Yes.
that, but you can and I still 100% would rather winning 2-3-0 than winning 1-0 and thinking for 30 minutes like we was yesterday as an Arsenal fan watching Aston Villa when they grew into the game. I was thinking, holy fucking shit, we're not gonna get the 3 points here today. We're gonna scrape 1 point,
Of course.
and that's not comfortable. And that's not controlling.
But then you look at the complete opposite side, as I said earlier. There wasn't a chance where we thought, besides the free kicks, we thought, fuck, we could be in a lot of trouble here. Besides that last James Justin, sorry.
I get that,
we may not have an 80% possession, but we're comfortable in the fact that we trust the team or the 11 players of the pitch trust each other, where they can cover each other and not concede more than that James Justin at the end there.
Yeah.
So in that sense, we're comfortable defensively. Sure, everyone would love to see 2, 3, 4-0 games. Of course you would, because as football, goals is what you're waiting for, 100%. But at the end, again, 3 points are 3 points. You're at this stage, there is only 2 teams. At this current stage, there's 2 teams you're thinking they play good football, and for me, that is Man City and Arsenal right now.
A few others. Brighton, Palace.
But you wouldn't think, you don't watch them play 90 minutes and think that is some beautiful football they're playing right now.
I watch Palace play, and whenever I watch them, I enjoy watching Palace.
Yeah, right. For the last,
the thing is, I get what you're both saying, but there's also ways we can go about it. The way when we got to their third and we were just knocking it about, is completely different way of controlling a 1-0 win than sitting back and hoofing it long.
But we
don't have to win 2 or 3-0, but there's also a different way of going about it.
We saw the iterations of that as well, though.
What I'm saying is you look at today, you look at the Southampton game, and probably the last game as well. You seem to get to a point in the game where you just start to turtle, and it just
inviting pressure.
You do invite pressure, and Southampton were playing good football, so the pressure was maybe a bit more accepted, but. Against this Leicester team,
the big difference between Southampton Leicester is Southampton controlled that midfield. So we were literally sitting back, hoof up to Elanga, hoof up to Rashford, and hope we can get a counter-attacking goal, which obviously never came. With Leicester, which what kind of Copley was saying is, we would have, in an ideal world, you would like to have controlled the game, not on the outside of our box. Rather at the other end of the pitch.
I think 3 points is 3 points, but in regards to you playing one of the worst teams in the league, I think it was very negative, in my opinion.
But you also hate United, so I'll tell you with a pinch of salt.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that's the thing at all. Would you say you just saw a positive performance against one of the worst teams in the league?
I saw a well-grinded out result. Again,
okay, so that's not positive.
I would accept that against Brighton.
Would you?
Leicester were fucking. Leicester were
right now.
Top 4.
That's my point. I would accept a 1-0 away performance to Brighton and you grinded a result. I'd be like, fair enough. But to bottom of the league, who have got 1 point, and are that wasteful, I would expect United to do
currently they're
more.
bottom of the league, absolutely. You would like to see more goals. Of course you would, with United's talent. They've got in the starting lineup. But even someone said at half time, there's only so long that Leicester will struggle like this for.
Yeah, but
right now they are. That's why
of course.
That's why I think
Leicester
United
still
should
have
do
that
more.
talent, which we've said as well. In the bigger games, players turn up more.
No, not one Leicester player turn up today.
No, you're absolutely right.
They were talented today. My biggest issue is that with the quality of players you have on the pitch, because bar maybe Scott McTominay, Yeah, you got rid of the shit quality of Shaw, the shit quality of Maguire. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen United create more. I would have liked to see more chances. I would like to have seen them stretch the Leicester. Because let's be real, yeah, United hardly stretched the Leicester defence. Hardly at all.
Yeah, absolutely. We could have.
I
We
would have
saw
liked to see.
it,
I would have liked to have seen a game where you controlled it more in the sense that you should have, you should have gone at Leicester a bit more. Even before the goal and just after the goal, I felt like it just wasn't. There weren't many chances, and then, Leicester's defence was shambolic, and I'm just surprised that we didn't see more in the sense of chances when it comes to United.
you say that, but then but obviously, especially towards the end, 20 minutes, we took off our creative players. We took off Sancho.
I'm talking first half as well, mate. Like first
yeah,
half
of course.
mainly. First half mainly. There just wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot to. In my opinion, the only thing that you can sing and dance about from that game is the result and the defense looking a bit more solid. They look a bit more of a unit.
But I feel like that's what we're playing into.
I've never been more confident in our defense for 4 years. 4 years, maybe even fucking more.
And you think in the last 10, 15 minutes, that's why we took off the attacking players, put on more midfielders to try and, I can only assume, try and hold the game in the middle of the park, which obviously we didn't do 100%. Did it better, you could say, but it's still not amazing.
Yeah, look, like it's just the whole way with like in regards to Leicester had like they had more passes, they had more possession, they had more shots and stuff like that. I just feel like for a team of the caliber of Leicester, who at the moment are piss poor, United could have done more to make the game easier for themselves. And I think they had the quality to do so. They just didn't. That's what I'm talking about. Because in my opinion, there's no way United should go away to Leicester and have less passes than Leicester. Like, there just isn't. I feel like they could have done a lot more to make that game a lot more, controlled and stuff like that.
I feel like we could have done what we did in the first half.
Realistically, we could also go back and forth about everything all night if we wanted to.
Yeah,
I'm off tomorrow, mate.
I could do that.
Right, but whilst you're all here, so
no, I don't think you can sit there and say that you controlled the game because you didn't control the game.
But it depends what you look. If you're looking at control possession or passes, sure. As I've got the stats up here, they had 53% possession and 100 odd, just under 100 more touches, and 60, 70 more passes. Right. So sure, the stats. Leicester controlled the game. Leicester probably deserved to win. You just watched 90 minutes.
No.
Leicester did 90 minutes, and they weren't even close to scoring.
Leicester did not deserve to win.
No,
it depends what you're classing as comfortable or.
I expect more from them.
Absolutely. And as I say, I totally agree. You would have loved to have seen. For United only has 2 shots on target. You would have loved to see that to be 4, 5, 6.
Right. For example, Arsenal played Leicester. Arsenal won 4-2 and looked comfortable. In my opinion, we didn't control that game.
Once again,
I didn't feel like we controlled the game, and I felt like United could have just done so much more. Like they just could have. I just felt like in the first half they had chances to really get at the Leicester defence. And they just didn't.
Even in the second half, we saw a couple of times with Eriksen was slightly late running to the box, and I think Ronaldo's overhead kick. Obviously, they're both of them an extra yard or a different decision. It could have been 3-0 in that second half, which we're saying it was probably the more lackluster side.
We could have done that 45 minutes for the first 45 for the second 45, but I also think Eric's going to go into that change room, and that's exactly what he wanted. I don't think he will have too many issues with how the game went, but obviously the first half I'd say we controlled it to a certain extent. We weren't relentless pressure going for goal, but we had the ball in and around their third. They only had that little spell, and then we got our goal. But I would like to see more of it in the second half. We showed glimmers of it, but again, even a team that look a little bit better, as Southampton did, put us under a bit more pressure.
Yeah, it's like if you play.
I'm sure Eric's got no issues with it.
No, of course he hasn't. If you played like that against someone like like Palace or someone like that, I feel like you would get punished. Like I just all I say about it, I just feel like you could have done more to control the game, but it's not that big of a deal. Like 3 points
No.
is 3 points. It's
Exactly, and that's the important thing for United at the end of the day. Like I said at half time, I just said I think Leicester were so wasteful, giving away possession, and I would have liked from United with their talent to capitalise on that, on them being that wasteful, and put a slightly more dominant display.
I think the last comment I'll kind of make is we said it briefly during the game. I think some players are still kind of stuck in Moments FC. Obviously, specifically, Bruno. There's obviously a couple other moments of the game where they've obviously tried something and it's more why. Like you had an easy 5-yard pass to your left, but you decided to try and ping it up to Rashford or whatever, and now we're looking to win the ball back again.
The attacking options don't help for how he wants to play, which I do understand, but also would like to see McMuffin not start because I feel like Casemiro just looks a lot more comfortable, can play the right pass, can make the right
just
tackle.
gives away too many free kicks. It's frustrating.
Even Fred and Casemiro, and then
the thing is,
you've got that Bruno Eriksson potential to switch between.
I would love to like McTominay, but he just gives away too many dangerous free kicks, and I always feel there's a red card on him in a big game where we need him the most. I just don't trust him in the United midfield anywhere, personally. Even his passion, he obviously loves the club, but he just doesn't have it.